Hello everyone, this is episode 53 of Talk Wrestling here on myspace.com/NoDQTalkWrestling, youtube.com/NoDQCW, and of course the greatest wrestling website in the world where you will find WrestleMania coverage Sunday night, April 5th, 8 Eastern, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, NoDQ.com. Different week, we're on the road to WrestleMania stuff. I figured to grab out the old WrestleMania 20 shirt out of storage. This is the most simplest shirt in the history of shirts, because all it is WrestleMania on the front and the date and the location on the back. This is the simplest WrestleMania shirt I have, people. But I did it for you, because WrestleMania 20 is one of the greatest of all time. The best main event in WrestleMania history, arguably the triple threat match between Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the Chris Benoit. I'm kidding. I say it, I don't care. I say the B word because I'm not afraid. That's right. Let's see. This is from Akash. Okay. Where in the business do you think Triple H would be now if he hadn't married Stephanie? Well, let's see. He'd be crying, just like my son. No, okay. Crying like he did a week ago Monday. Yeah. No. Triple H was a main eventer before he even knew Stephanie McMahon well. He knew of Stephanie because she was Vince's daughter. But Triple H was WWE champion long before he ever started dating Stephanie McMahon. I believe either 2 or 3 time WWE champion before he met Stephanie McMahon, started dating Stephanie McMahon. I don't know that for sure. At least 2, but maybe 3. So I think he would have been where he is. And I think the storyline with Orton wouldn't make very much sense right now. Other than that, he would have been a main eventer for sure. This is from Derek Moss. Hey Jeff, congrats on episode 50 and glad to see you back. Anyways, just me or the Jeff Hardy title win meant more if it happened at WrestleMania 25. It was great to see him win it anyway, but at Armageddon? I know they have started the Hardy vs. Hardy storyline, but I personally would have liked to have seen him win Money in the Bank and then come out and make the main event a triple threat and then win it, because Jeff is over like an MFer and worthy of that Mania spotlight, although I know from one of the early episodes that Jeff doesn't impress you, but I just wanted to get your take on it. Yeah, I said this last week I've said it a few times about Jeff Hardy. I'm not impressed by Jeff Hardy anymore. He had his chances and he's kind of blown it, I think, and he has a big match at WrestleMania coming up against his own brother. I think that is where he belongs, in that stage with his brother, not on the WWE Championship stage. Besides, both championship matches, I think, have a great storyline. For Jeff to win Money in the Bank and insert himself in either one of those matches would be stupid at this point. Edge versus Cena versus Big Show is a great story now, and Orton versus Triple H is one of the best stories I've ever seen going into WrestleMania main event. So Jeff Hardy doesn't belong in any of those matches, so him winning it when he did was appropriate, I believe, and being champion for only a month, because everybody was saying Jeff needs to win the big one. Well, he did it. Move on. Jeff won the big one. Woohoo! Yeehaw! BFD. Done with Jeff Hardy. Alright, this is from Aaron P. Aaron Parker, apparently. Hey Jeff, I was wondering why you don't like Jack Swagger. I mean, he has produced good matches. Sure, he is pretty bad on the mic, but that's why he's on ECW. And he has a good set of moves. I just think that you're giving him more crap than he deserves. Just my opinion. Thanks. Oh, can we get a look at what Aaron actually looks like? I started watching at the time he interviewed RVD, and I've never seen him. Alright, well, first of all, there is a certain picture of Aaron Rift, along with his main squeeze, and everybody's favorite wrestler on the MySpace page, myspace.com/ oh wait, I took it down. I take that back. I took it down. Where can you see Aaron? I took that picture down too. You can't see Aaron. Ha! He is the man behind the magic. You will never see him. He's like the man behind the curtain. You don't see the very end of Wizard of Oz. When this show dies, then you will see Aaron Rift. What? Oh yeah, Talking Hand. No.
Retired.
Yeah. Talking Hand's next MV character. When next MV died, he died too. He retired. Talking Hand's retired.
Oh, and by the way, MySpace.
MySpace?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. MySpace.com/Aaron Rift.
There you go.
That's where you can see Aaron. You can hear his voice on every Talk Wrestling, but you can only see him on that MySpace. I forgot about your MySpace, dude. Sorry. And as far as Jack Swagger, you know, I was pretty harsh on him in a couple episodes, but the truth is he's kind of grown on me. I kind of like Swagger. He's the gut wrench powerbomb is a very old, basic maneuver, but it's effective. It's killing people left and right. You know, I'm not particularly fond of him overall. He has the room to grow. You know, he has the potential to do good things and to be a bona fide superstar in this industry, but for right now he's not there, and he shouldn't even be a champion in my opinion. He should still be working his way up the ranks. He is good, he's just not great, but he has grown on me a lot, so I will give you guys that much. He has grown on me. Oscar has a couple of questions. I'm just going to pick one. WWE released Teddy Hart about 2 years ago, I believe. I'm not sure on the exact time. Anyways, I was wondering why WWE released him, and would they ever consider bringing him back? I think he'd be great team with Tyson Kidd to reform the Hart Foundation. You know what I'd like to see personally is him, Tyson Kidd, who is TJ Wilson, and D.H. Smith become the Hart Foundation, with Natalya managing them or valeting them or being part of the group even. You know, those four would be a great new Hart Foundation on the WWE stage. They did it in Florida. They've done it, you know, a few different places, I believe. Definitely Florida. Bring them back, you know. I heard D.H. Smith wants to be part of Legacy. Smith would be better off personally as part of the Hart Foundation, I believe. That'd be a great SmackDown stable. The Raw has Legacy. They've got DiBiase and Rhodes and Orton. Smith doesn't need to be a part of that. He should be with the Hart Foundation. That's just my personal opinion. You know, that'd be a great formation, those four people. Smith, Tyson Kidd, T.J. Wilson, whatever I call him, Teddy Hart, and Natalya, Neidhart. This is from Jason Smith. Do you think the restart of ECW would have had a high rate of success had it been restarted the year early at the first one-night stand? A number of stars from the original ECW were still there, or yet to debut at that point. The Dudleys, Rhino, Jericho, Super Crazy, the BWO, Psychosis, Kid Cash, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Mike Awesome, Lance Storm. There is truth to that. If ECW had started the year earlier and started with the first one-night stand, ECW may have stayed as ECW for a while and been the hardcore company that it was and may have been more successful. But Vince, for whatever reason, didn't want to do it that way. Wanted to restart it under his terms, under his, his brand, his thing, and run it into the bloody ground and get rid of Paul and get rid of the originals and do all these things to make it as much not like ECW as humanly possible. This is from Rob Tillison on MySpace. Do you think Eric's controversy creates cash is mainly true or just for entertainment? Like when he said they didn't have anything else to do with Hogan, so the decision was to turn him heel, which was a big controversy with the fans that created cash at the NWO. Yeah, Rob, any book written by a wrestler is for both. It's to talk about their life, and it is also for entertainment. It's to sell books, it's to make money. If they didn't want to make money in their life story, they wouldn't, write the book. If they didn't want to entertain you, they wouldn't write the book. But Bischoff, I think even Hogan has talked about this, and so has Bischoff, and so has a few other people within the WCW hierarchy back in '96. Hogan had run his course as a, babyface, wearing the red and yellow and doing his thing, and he wasn't in anymore. He wasn't a hot commodity anymore. They had to do something with him. They were paying him all these millions and millions and millions of dollars. So the decision was made to make him a bad guy, and it worked very well for a good, 3 years. When the time was right, Hogan went back to being red and yellow, and it worked for him. Contrary to what happened in WWE, where Vince wanted to bring him in as a bad guy with Hall and Nash, and the fans said, no. Hogan's a good guy here. Sorry. Hogan will always be our hero. Hogan will always be the babyface of babyfaces. Bigger than anybody. And the fact that they turned him back into a babyface at WrestleMania 18. That's just the way it went. WCW, they couldn't do anything with it. WCW is a proven doer of nothing. They always have. WCW can never do anything with anybody. And Goldberg was the one guy that they created that got over. Everybody else was a WWF grown commodity that WCW stole and used for everything, milked them for all they were worth. So, as far as the book goes, the book was meant for both purposes. Yes, it was meant to be truthful, but it was also meant to be entertaining and make you want to pick it up and read it cover to cover. Personally, I wasn't a fan of Eric Bischoff's book. I didn't really like that very much. I'm not a big fan of Eric Bischoff's, to be perfectly honest with you. Bischoff is not one of my big, favorites ever in the history of the business. Vince's book I would read cover to cover because it'd probably be twice as thick. But Bischoff's book I didn't like. I didn't like Batista's book when it came out. I got that. I wasn't impressed with it. But most of the other ones I like. My favorite now, after reading part of it at Aaron's and getting my own copy for Christmas, is Bret Hart's. That's my favorite all time now. Bret Hart's book. If you haven't read Bret Hart's book, Hitman, My Real Life in the Cartoon World of Wrestling, go buy it. Don't be like me and be a California cheapskate at Borders and read the entire thing cover to cover. Don't do that. Go and buy it. It is a great book. I highly recommend it. And Bret Hart, you owe me money for the royalties for that because I just gave you a batch. Major shilling. This is from Kevin Smith. Do you think WWE needs to showcase their U.S. and Intercontinental titles better? I mean, get some interesting matches. Personally, I don't give a crap who is U.S. Intercontinental Champion because there's no passion or what in the storylines for the titles now. When RVD and Eddie were Intercontinental Champs, being the champ meant something, and the same with Benoit was U.S. Champion. Hell, put a cage match for the title or a hardcore match, something to make it different. Do you agree? I've said this for the longest time, that both those titles need to be showcased better. Now that MVP is U.S. Champion, you may get some better matches. You may get some more showcase matches. As long as JBL's Intercontinental Champion, you're never going to get a good match. JBL is the worst, I said this last week, the worst Intercontinental Champion of all time. And that includes a lot of people. But JBL's the worst. I hate JBL. I can't stand the man. He needs to go away and just retire already and just let the title be in a tournament. Whatever. The titles need to be showcased better, that's for sure. Both those championships mean a lot. I mean, the U.S. title goes back to 1975 when Harley Race was the first champion. And the first Intercontinental Champion, of course, the infamous stooge, Pat Patterson. Both those guys meant something to the company, meant something to the history of the business. And the Intercontinental title has always been a workhorse title. It's always been a meaningful title. And to have, people like JBL hold it is ridiculous and needs to be showcased much, much better. The U.S. Championship has been held by a lot of good people, just hasn't been showcased properly. So we will see in due time what happens in MVP's second reign. This is from, his MySpace name is Jesse Bear. It looks like his real name is Jesse Stamp. Hey Jeff, love the show. I have a question for you. What do you think of the documentary Beyond the Mat? Although dated, I believe that it is one of the best wrestling documentaries. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. I liked Beyond the Mat. I didn't like the fact that Vince made Darren Drozdov, he's gonna puke. That was so, it was funny. I'm laughing now, but it was so stupid, and I guarantee, everybody said this, if it was not on camera, Vince wouldn't have made him do that. It was just the fact that Blaustein was filming that he made him do that. Very telling, very much, informative of how the business is for the past and the present superstars. You look at a guy like Mick Foley, who was rescued from the Indies by Vince McMahon and who was making a killer living and still felt the need to, get himself bludgeoned with a chair. Jake the Snake Roberts, a drug addict who, fell from glory. And, guys that are trained at the APW, Michael Modest and Tony, whatever the hell that guy's name was, Tony, whatever it was. Training with Roland Alexander up there at APW, which I went to. Great school, great company, great fed. Can't say enough good things about them. I love those guys to death. Speaking of feds, I need to make a quick plug. I didn't plug last show or the show before that. MySpace.com/PWU All-Stars. Pro Wrestling Uprising. We are on the take, brother. We are getting ready to come back full barrel at a certain event down in Anaheim, maybe. That's what I'm hearing. We'll see what happens there. But any event, Pro Wrestling All-Stars. Pro Wrestling Uprising All-Stars. PW All-Stars, MySpace.com. I liked Beyond the Mat. Let me get back to what the topic was. Beyond the Mat was a great film, a great story. I liked Wrestling with Shadows better. I like the Hitman Hart documentary. I like Brad's documentary by Paul J. better. but I did very much like Beyond the Mat. I also like the style of the wrestler, which is very documentary-like. I like them both. Hey Jeff, I watched the Legends of Wrestling Heat Seekers DVD, and I was thinking they didn't address it well. So in your opinion, who are the top 3 Heat Seekers, past and present? This is from AJ Lanigan, by the way. If you're going all time, the top 3 Heat Seekers, Roddy Piper, by far the top man, as well as Ric Flair. And another good Heat Seeker in his heel days, for 3 years in WCW he was a heel, was Hollywood Hogan. Those are my top 3 Heat Seekers of all time. Nobody could generate heat, and I mean the heat that you want to get, not the heat that Vicky Guerrero gets every time she goes, "Excuse me!" You know, not that kind of heat. That's terrible. You know. What does Vicky say, Jade? Thank you. Okay. You know, about the good type of, powerful heat that the heels should get. Piper, Flair, and Hollywood Hogan. Nobody can top those 3. Nobody. Not a soul. This is from Drew Bernardi. Why did WWE go with guys like Mark Henry, Kane, and Finlay to go into Money in the Bank over some of the high flyers that make the match so exciting, such as Jeff Hardy, John Morrison, R-Truth, Brian Kendrick, Hurricane Helms, etc.? Money in the Bank is not just about the high flyers. Honestly, Money in the Bank is about, the guys that deserve to be in the spot to get a world championship opportunity, and the guys that will make an impact in the match. No, Mark Henry's not going to climb ladders and do, 450 planches on the guys. It's not going to happen. But Mark Henry will pick up a ladder and beat the crap out of you with it. Kane can fly. We've seen Kane fly. Finlay can do it. If Finlay can do things I would never imagine a guy Finlay's size or age can do. I'm not putting anything past Finlay, Hey, you. What are you doing? What are you doing? You causing trouble? Once again, we're at undisclosed location here on episode 53, and we have a studio audience again. I'd like to see Hurricane back. Hurricane's not going to get pushed anymore, I don't think, nor is R-Truth. The Brian Kendrick, I don't know what they're doing with him. We'll see. And Jeff Hardy has his own match against Matt Hardy. I mentioned this earlier show, and probably even today's show I'll probably mention it. Jeff Hardy, whatever, done with it. Done with it. Well, that will do it for episode 53 Talk Wrestling. Next week, more questions from you, from the YouTube column, actually, from the YouTube pages. And, of course, another WrestleMania shirt, because by the time that show goes up, we will be less than a week away from WrestleMania, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, and I'll give you my final thoughts on that, as well as your questions. For now, we will see you next time, once again from the undisclosed location here on Talk Wrestling.